Toyota is the world's largest car company by number of vehicles sold each year, surpassing 10 million in 2012 and roughly maintaining that rate of production year after year. The company has been praised for being a leader in fuel-efficient vehicles, starting with the hybrid Toyota Prius in 1997, and today continues to dominate in the space with over 40 hybrid vehicle models worldwide. Toyota was a pioneer in clean, green, efficient vehicles and was even early to the game with a fully electric RAV4 EV with limited production. In 2010, Toyota began working on a second-generation RAV4 EV, this time partnering with a small California-based company that you may have heard of, Tesla Motors. When the partnership began, Tesla CEO Elon Musk called the joint venture historic, citing that he long admired Toyota. At the same time, president of Toyota, Akio Toyoda, who was still the president today, described his test drive of the Tesla Roadster, saying he felt the wind of the future. The RAV4 EV production ran from 2012 to 2014 in California alone. Yet, after a series of differences and clashes, Tesla and Toyota parted ways, with Toyota starting its own electric vehicle division in 2016. But even with all of this experience in EVs and early leads in multiple eras and products, Toyota still does not have a single battery electric vehicle for sale on the market today. The electric vehicle industry, pulled into the 21st century by Tesla, is growing exponentially and now threatens to leave Toyota behind by eating away at their gas car and even their electrified businesses. Toyota is fighting back in an obscure way, but Tesla, which now overshadows Toyota in market cap, isn't taking any prisoners and aims to wipe out the car companies that are blocking and have failed to meaningfully invest in electric vehicles. After World War II, the United States, allying with Japan, immensely benefited Toyota in helping them learn from automakers from all over the world. Toyota studied the best industry ideas and integrated them into their own offerings. The Japanese were known for making reliable vehicles, but borrowed concepts such as well-engineered designs from German manufacturers and tiered marketing models from American OEMs, and Toyota improved and optimized its manufacturing plants for high quality and low cost. They did this by creating the Toyota Production System, which designs out inconsistencies in production and aims at eliminating waste. Toyota invented just-in-time manufacturing for making only what's needed, only when it's needed, and only in the amount that it's needed. They also relied on the concept of automation, or an intelligent automation system where humans were more like supervisors for production machines and could stop the assembly line to fix abnormalities and then investigate a root cause to install a long-term solution such that it didn't happen again. Back in 1970, General Motors controlled 40% of the US car and light truck market, with Toyota only at 2%. However, Toyota's share increased fourfold by 1990, and in 2006 they held 13% share, whereas GM's market share had fallen to 26% on their home turf. It's been commonly told that the American automakers basically said that the Japanese could have the small car market because it was fairly meaningless to them at the time, given their massive overall dominance. This was clearly a large mistake in hindsight, since Toyota kept growing and steadily reinvesting and learning, eventually moving into all the different types of verticals where the big three US companies used to play. Today, Toyota is approximately tied in first place with Volkswagen for producing 10 million cars per year, with GM now closer to 7 million. The Toyota Corolla alone is the best-selling car in the world at approximately 1.5 million units per year, and is also the best-selling car of all time, recently surpassing a total of 50 million cumulative units sold at the beginning of 2021. Toyota was and is truly the juggernaut of the car industry. Toyota has historically actually been at the forefront of greener and more efficient vehicles. The Toyota Prius was the world's first mass-produced hybrid car. It contained new technology with ultra-high gas mileage. In 2007, the EPA, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, rated the Prius among the cleanest vehicles sold in the United States at the time. and by 2017, the Prius had accumulated 6.1 million units sold over the prior 20 years since its inception in 1997. Also in 1997, Toyota released an early electric vehicle, the RAV4 EV, which was only available in California to meet the state's mandate for zero-emission vehicles. The RAV4 EV used a single-speed gearbox and nickel metal hydride battery that weighed 1,000 pounds and offered 27 kilowatt-hours of charging capacity. This gave the vehicle a range of 95 miles or 153 kilometers, which is surprisingly functional for local commutes, which are typically the majority of trips taken. Toyota only sold just under 1,500 of these EVs, and the program ran from 1997 until 2003, where it was then discontinued despite waiting lists of customers who wanted to purchase the vehicle. This shares many parallels with GM's EV1, where the vehicles were recalled despite customers actually liking the car. However, Toyota did try again in 2010 with the second generation RAV4 EV, this time partnering with Tesla, which was a small startup at the time, and they provided the powertrain and battery. A prototype was created in just 3 weeks, emphasizing one of Elon Musk's favorite adages that prototypes are easy but volume production is hard. The second generation RAV4 EV was released in 2012 and sported a 41 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery and used Tesla's induction motor as opposed to the permanent magnet motor that Toyota was using on their hybrid models. This gave the electric RAV4 a 103-mile or 166-kilometer range. At the beginning of the venture in 2010, Toyota also invested $50 million into Tesla and sold them a shut-down California factory for $42 million. This was the Nummi plant, part of a joint venture between Toyota and General Motors, and the only remaining car manufacturing plant on the West Coast. Today, it's well known as Tesla's Fremont facility, but at the time, Tesla used this factory to develop its Model S sedan as well as components for other OEMs such as Toyota. Between the years of 2012 and 2014, Toyota sold 2,500 of these new RAV4 EVs. However, there were culture clashes between the two companies, and the relationship soured, further exacerbated by vehicles being hit with recalls. In 2016, Toyota ended the partnership with Tesla and sold off its stake in the company. Its original $50 million investment, just a month before Tesla's IPO, allowed them to acquire 2.3 million shares, which were worth on the order of $500 million in 2016. Of course, if they had held on until today, the shares would be valued at approximately $8.6 billion. Toyota had stated that they would be forming a new division which would be focusing on their own electric and electrified vehicles. However, by this time, Tesla had already released the Model S and X to market and were planning something big. It appeared that the wind of the future that Toyota president Akio Toyoda felt when he first drove the Tesla Roadster seemed to be changing. And by the way, stop using Yahoo Finance, stop using Google Finance, and have a look at our website, themarketisopen.com, where we have instant stock quotes and financial data going back 10 years, and it's all freely available. By 2016, Tesla had been garnering not only vast expertise in electric vehicles, but also a leadership position. The company was executing on Elon Musk's master plan, which was to build a low-volume sports car, the Roadster, followed by a mid-volume, more affordable car, the Model S and X, which Tesla had already done, and then to move on to a high-volume mass-market vehicle, which would be the beginning of the Model 3. In contrast, Toyota effectively tried to start at this third step with the RAV4 EV. This was quite an ambitious project, which likely wasn't at all economically viable, especially given high battery costs at the time, which still needed years before becoming more affordable. The advantage of Tesla starting with the Roadster was that even if they were only able to sell 2,500 cars, each one was priced with large margins to be able to invest back into the company and into future projects. Toyota's RAV4 EVs, on the other hand, were likely causing losses for the company, which would have continued for years to come as we saw with Tesla, and financially, it made sense to cut the program. However, Elon Musk and Tesla envisioned that the future would be electric, which helped them to persist even during difficult times. It's also in a sense more acceptable that a startup could take losses, whereas an established automaker such as Toyota needed to show high profitability for its shareholders. Interestingly, Elon Musk actually stated in 2010 that he had long admired Toyota, and it seems that Tesla's vast push for a highly automated Model 3 factory may be an example of an American car company copying Toyota back. Elon has stated that he wants Tesla to be the best manufacturer on Earth, and it seems that Tesla has been studying Toyota's playbook to get there. Why not take some inspiration from the best automaker on Earth? When Toyota and Tesla parted ways, according to Masahiro Akita, a Japanese analyst with Credit Suisse, they said, Toyota originally had a strong cutting-edge reputation with its hybrid electric vehicles, but now the market considers them as a follower in the electric vehicle business, and maybe Tesla the leader in terms of brand image or reputation. Now Toyota needs to recover its previous position. Furthermore, James Chow, a managing director at IHS Automotive, said that Tesla had developed beyond being a testbed for interesting electric vehicle technologies to becoming a full-fledged competitor of traditional automakers in the electric vehicle space. It makes sense that Toyota is distancing themselves from Tesla. President of Toyota, Akio Toyoda, who is still the current president of the automaker and the grandson of the founder of Toyota Motor Corp, said in 2016 that Toyota's restructuring includes EVs as part of their new venture company, meaning it wouldn't be fully dedicated to electric vehicles. He believed that the new division would specialize in its field and embrace speed in its approach to work. He said, "It is my hope that it will serve as a pulling force for innovation in the work practices of Toyota and the Toyota Group." However, perhaps Toyota's efforts to work on EVs earlier than others in the industry left a bad taste in their mouth due to all of the failures and disappointments that they experienced. Because 5 years later, today, in 2021, it's clear that they had not been investing heavily in EVs, as Toyota has no electric vehicles on the market. Instead, Toyota has been investing in hydrogen fuel cell technology with its Toyota Mirai, one of the first mass-produced hydrogen vehicles. While hydrogen has some benefits, such as renewable fuel source, clean burning, no noise pollution, efficient when compared to fossil fuels, and fast fueling times, they still have a series of detriments, including a high overall cost, a lack of infrastructure, and the vehicle would still contain a highly flammable compressed gas. Elon Musk has poked fun at hydrogen, calling them fool cells, as he has had unproductive experiences trying to use hydrogen as a fuel for SpaceX rockets. Toyota has also been driving a vehicle labeled powered by all solid-state batteries, a technology that the company is rumored to have a breakthrough in. This is a marketing strategy that tends to give people the impression that Toyota is on the brink of bringing solid-state batteries to market, which would be the holy grail of the battery industry. But as car specialist Sandy Munro has recently said, Toyota's solid-state battery, if they have something, could be 5 to 10 years away. We also have no real insight into the properties of this battery. Toyota has spent $13 billion developing new technologies, part of which is solid-state, but solid-state is a difficult problem to solve. It could contain materials or processes that are expensive or are difficult to source, making it tough to scale. This brings us back to Elon Musk's "prototypes are easy, production is hard." But if that's the case and Toyota is on the brink of a breakthrough, then why is Toyota trying to slow down the global transition to EVs? At the beginning of 2021, Toyota needed to pay a $180 million penalty for failing to comply with emission reporting requirements. According to Electric, Toyota delayed 78 emission reports by up to 8 years and failed to file 20 emission recall reports and over 200 quarterly updates on emissions recalls. Sandy Munro has even called out Toyota for lobbying the US government in order to delay electric vehicle adoption. Back in March of 2021, Toyota warned the government about going electric, saying, "If we are to make dramatic progress in electrification, it will require overcoming tremendous challenges, including refueling infrastructure, battery availability, consumer acceptance, and affordability." They went on to say that while rivals have made aspirational statements, less than 2% of vehicles sold in the United States last year were battery electric. He also notes that it took Toyota 20 years to sell more than 4 million US gasoline-electric hybrid vehicles. While EVs only made up 2% of the market in 2020, they are growing exponentially at a rapid pace. This year, EVs could almost double to 3 to 4% market share. Kathy Wood from research and investment firm ARK Invest has an ambitious prediction that by 2025, in just 4 years' time, the EV market could grow to 40 million cars per year, which would be almost half of all new car sales. Meanwhile, Tesla's preparing to open 2 new gigafactories in Germany and in Texas, which could over time more than double their capacity. Elon Musk is targeting to have Model Y be the best-selling car in the world potentially by 2023. This would mean to at least surpass the yearly sales of the Toyota Corolla, the world's best-selling car, at 1.5 million units per year. ARK Invest has done some research showing that electric cars now have a lower total cost of ownership than an internal combustion engine vehicle. This factors in purchase price, maintenance, repairs, fuel, and residual value. Compared to the Toyota Camry, the Tesla Model 3, even the long-range version, is 6 to 9 cents cheaper per mile. Toyota has had trouble making the shift to fully electric, especially considering the history of the company and its past leadership with greener technologies. Even while Toyota is lobbying the government, fighting electric cars and trying to hinder their progress, they have released concept designs for new battery electric vehicles. Toyota is aiming to bring 15 fully electric models to market by 2025. This will be quite the challenge, since starting with just one vehicle has not been an easy feat for companies such as Ford, GM, and Volkswagen. At least these companies have committed to an all-electric future, whereas Toyota has not. Toyota instead aims to hit carbon neutrality by 2050. At this rate, Toyota's market share may be a lot smaller than it is today. The company also boasts 70 electrified vehicle models by 2025, but electrified includes hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and fuel cell vehicles, none of which appear to have much of a long-term future. Even Toyota president Akio Toyoda is opposed to the Japanese government's electric future, saying it could cost Japan 5.5 million jobs and 8 million units of lost vehicle output by 2030. We're already seeing early signs of decline with Toyota, which normally produces 10 million vehicles per year, has lowered its 2021 guidance by another 300,000 down to 9 million for the year. This is blamed mainly on chips and parts shortages. However, Kathy Wood from ARK Invest has pointed out that there could be undercurrents in the market, including the shift to EVs, which is rapidly changing consumer behavior. In the end, Toyota isn't ready for the electric vehicle wave to hit the industry. They've invested in alternate technologies such as hydrogen and hybrid vehicles, and their aggressive lobbying against environmental measures shows that they're late to the game on EVs. They also have the most to lose, as their current production is one of the largest in the world, producing purely ICE or hybrid ICE cars. Toyota would need to replace their entire 10 million annual vehicle capacity in order to just maintain their current volumes, starting from 0 electric cars today. Electric cars are also a threat to the lucrative dealership, service, and parts models, as they have fewer parts, meaning less to break, and almost no maintenance. Competition from Tesla is not only gaining rapidly in unit sales, but also in mind share. In order to convert Toyota's entire ICE factory fleet to electric, and to source enough batteries given the industry and government pressure, is virtually impossible over the next 5 to 10 years, even for the once greatest manufacturer on Earth. So do you think Toyota will be able to navigate the transition to EVs And where do you see Toyota's 10 million typical unit sales being in 2025 and in 2030? Don't forget to check out last week's Tesla van video, where I outlined some of the interesting use cases and the market opportunity for a potential Tesla van. Please hit the like button and subscribe for more content and research, and a huge shout out to all of our patrons that helped us support our channel. Your support helps us to continue to make great content. Thank you guys so much for watching.